couple things I wanted to touch on. I'd put a thing up. I'll get into it in a few minutes, but I'd put a thing up on the GTA delay of GTA 6, and I was getting some messages, and someone's like, "You should rant on it," and I was like, honestly, it's not even something that pisses me off, but I figured worth discussing a video game ramble on top of Microsoft bumping the prices of all their stuff up. But anyway, real quick, what I've been playing. Obviously, I've still been playing the NBA 2K23. I got one more part I want to do with that, with the Knicks, and then I'll finish with that team. And maybe when I get back from New York, start up a new team from the beginning on that. And I'm still playing indie. I haven't been playing as much the past couple of days. I didn't play anything yesterday, or the day before, I don't think. But I'm still enjoying the hell out of it, honestly. It's kind of, well, like I said, I'm in the jungle area. I forget the name of it. Some with an S, I believe. It's in Asia. But I can't remember exactly the spot. It's still cool. That's the part where you get the boat. You're going around the boat, going different areas. It's still really cool. It's just I think it's kind of maybe getting to the point where it's like, okay, wind it up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe I jump back in after a few days and I'm enjoying it as much as I was. But I still think it's great. I do want to go back. I finally got the breathing device. It's funny you get this breathing device. I mean, it makes sense where the area you get it in because you're in the boat and stuff. There's a lot more water compared to the previous areas. But now I can go back as well to other spots now. I can do that. Like I did a random thing in this new area, and all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, you can go back to prior points. I guess maybe it was after I got the breathing device. I don't know. Because that's needed in the other spots too. The breathing device. I gotta do some my eyebrows are out of control. So I need to go back. I know there's a part in the Vatican I need to go to with the breathing device. Oh my god, this freaking one. I gotta pluck those. Look at this thing. I gotta pluck it. Because it's just, it won't stay where it should. I have thick eyebrows, as you can tell. But yeah, this is the area I'm at right now. But there's a part in the Vatican underneath, in like the catacombs or whatever, where I that's where I first realized it's like a breathing device needed. I'm like, when am I getting that thing? So I'll go back and probably do some stuff. I mean, I have to finish a couple of the fighting arenas. I got up to the last guy in the first two areas. And I know where it is in the jungle part. I know where it is, and I just got a uniform. I stole a uniform, whatever, so I can do that as well. But it's still cool. Combat's still fun. Exploring's still fun, and doing the side stuff is still fun. The little side missions, doing them and stuff, and solving the puzzles and whatnot. There's still a lot going on. I'll do a review of it when I've completed it, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it. But yeah, rambling. GTA 6 was delayed. Somebody posted on Instagram, like, and then all of a sudden it was popping up everywhere. Delayed till I guess it was supposed to come out in 25. I don't think, did they actually put a definitive 25 date on it? Now it's like May 6th, 26. And I posted, I'm like, this game's coming out when the PS6 comes out. I swear this reminds me completely of, if you remember, Twilight Princess on the GameCube got delayed for like, I feel like that game was supposed to come out in like 03. And maybe 04. Because Wind Waker, I think, would have come out in 03. I think it was like 04, maybe early 05, this game was supposed to come out. And they kept pushing it. They pushed it until the Wii came out so they could release it on the Wii. Because they were working on it on the Wii as well. Obviously. So like, oh, we want to do this dual release. Because we can't have it just come out on the Cube and then coming out. It needs to be kind of a showcase or a game to pick up for the Wii. They're doing the same thing with GTA. I'm telling you, it is. the chances of it actually coming out on May 6th, 26th, in my opinion, are like less than 30%. Because they will be like, we still gotta finish it up and we want to give you the greatest experience. And then they'll push it. Because then you're getting there, maybe, if they're like, okay, the PS6 is all of a sudden coming out early 27, that gives them the perfect thing. If anything, it will probably get, if they don't do that, it will get delayed to like October 26. Which, what I don't personally care. Like, honestly, I laughed. I saw it, I started laughing. I'm like, I couldn't give a shit about GTA when it comes out at this point. The freaking fifth one came out in 2013, okay? At this point, it's going to be 13 years. So it's like, at this point, does it matter if it's another year? Who cares? There's so many other good games that are coming out. Like, who gives a shit? It comes out, and you bone over it. You know? That's what's going to happen. I can say the same thing for Elder Scrolls 6. That's even worse. 5 came out. Skyrim came out originally in 2011. It's cool that they did an Oblivion remaster. So that gives you something to... Of course, then they'll just use that as an excuse to not make Elder Scrolls 6 for another 10 years. They'll be like, well, that remaster's doing well, so let's release it on the PS6 and the new Xbox, whatever that's going to be called. Let's release it then. And I meant that with GTA 6 as well, like, whenever the new consoles come out, because I would assume they're both going to be coming out around the same time. It's just going to be, it's like, I don't know, for me personally, the hype for GTA, it's not there. And it never was there for me. Actually, it was there for me. The only time it was really there for me was Vice City. I was super pumped when Vice City. I'm like, I didn't have a PS2 at the time, I had an Xbox. And I was like, I think I might have sold my Cube at that point. And I was like, I need to get a PS2 for this game. Like, I kept seeing the trailers for it. And I'm like, I gotta get this. And then by the time San Andreas came out, I didn't have an Xbox. I mean, a PS2, and I didn't get one for it. So I was like, oh, it looks cool. And I never ended up playing much of it, which is unfortunate. I should play that at some point. I did play some. I think because it released later on the original Xbox. I'm pretty sure. I know they put out 3 and Vice City in like a dual pack, and I think 4 came out probably a year after it had come out on the PS2. But I was like, whatever. And even at that point, I was just like, whatever. I don't care. And then 4 came out. I was excited for 4, but I wasn't like I desperately need it. But 4 is awesome. 4 gets overlooked at this point now, because I think it's sandwiched between San Andreas, which people love, and GTA 5, which people love. And people seem to forget about GTA 4 sometimes. GTA 4 is awesome, and it's actually the most serious of all of them. It still has the GTA humor and the Rockstar humor, but it's toned down. It's a more serious story compared to the other GTAs. It's not like constantly joking and satire every 5 seconds, you know. Which I don't mind, but it was nice having a serious story. GTA 4 is a great game. And 5's a great game too, but I've always been more of an Elder Scrolls person. Like, if you give me a new Elder Scrolls, if they were like, Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out in 26, and it's only going to be on Xbox, I'd be like, I have to get an Xbox. I have to do it. I can't not. And once again, I will get whenever GTA 6 releases. I'm not saying I'll get it at launch. I'm obviously playing it. I'm not going to play a GTA, you know, and just be like, no, I'm not playing it. It sucks. No, it will be great, I'm sure. And I'm sure they're smoothing things over and everything with the delay. But you know, there's other reasons for that delay. It's not just to make it the best it can be. That's what companies like to say. There's other shit going on where they're like, can we push this? How do we do this? Or they're already making a PS6 and a new Xbox version of it. That's part of the delay. So they end up delaying it from 26, but then the new consoles come out in like early 27, and then they still get it at the 27, so it's still fresh in people's mind. Because I feel like they're not going to want to release that on an older console if a newer console's coming out like 6 months later. Because I feel like they're going to be losing out, and they'll charge even more. Because there's rumors that it's going to easily be $80, $90. They'll charge you $100 on a newer console. It's more than just, we want to make it the best it can be. The companies always say this shit. And then the game comes out after 10 delays, and there's still problems. And we got to give you that day one patch. You know, come on. Games of that size will never be perfect in terms of there being a glitch or some screw up because you would have to gameplay test a GTA or an Elder Scrolls for 50 years before you found everything. So GTA 6 will come out and there'll still be issues. I'm sure there'll still be bugs in it and everything else. But I'm saying there's probably more reasons for just them wanting to make it the best experience and than just that. Everybody knew it was getting delayed. If you thought it was actually coming out in 25, you don't know how the video game industry works, because this shit's been happening for years. It probably happened back in the day when you didn't have outlets everywhere to let you know it's been delayed. Super Nintendo, Genesis, Nintendo 64. These games were probably getting delayed back then, but it wasn't. You couldn't get information every 5 seconds about it. I mean, it was happened during the PS2 era and stuff. Games were getting delayed. Obviously, like I said, with Twilight Princess. And that was a strategic delay. They wanted to delay it until the new system came out. I remember that. People were getting pissed because they wanted another Zelda. I loved Wind Waker. Most people did, but people at the time, some people were like, oh, it looks like a kiddie game. But it's an awesome game. But people wanted to see Link. Because I think they showed did they not? They showed the first trailer, and it was like an adult-looking Link, and everybody's like, holy shit, this is what we're waiting for, Because, yes, you had the Toon Link, as they called it, with Wind Waker, and people were like, shit. Great game, but people kind of want Link to look how they thought he would look as these games went on, right? And they make an adult Link. And then it happened, and I played some Twilight Princess on the Wii, and I didn't like the controls. I should have just gotten it on the GameCube. Although I might not have had a GameCube at the time. I still should have just gotten it. Because that's the more expensive version now. I need to go back, I've been saying it, and play the Wii version again. And I forget what part I got up to, but I was like, the controls just were not sitting well with me. But games get delayed all the time. That's why I don't... Even if I was super chomping at the bit for new GTA, I would still be like, whatever, I don't care. It comes out when it comes out. Rockstar makes good games, so it will come out, and everybody's gonna love it. Red Dead Redemption hit some delays. It came out, and it's Rockstar's best game, realistically. It's, in my opinion, Red Dead 2 is better than any of the GTAs. And in my opinion, it's not even close. Just as a living, breathing game world. Even, I've not played every open world game, but for the ones I've played, even the newer ones on the consoles now, the Red Dead 2 game world is the biggest, like, living, breathing game world. Just shit happening constantly. I could throw that game in now and come across 20 things I'd never seen. But I am excited for that Oblivion remaster. I need to pick it up. I talked about that again. But that's GTA. A lot of people, some people are pissed about it, some are not. I remember there's a video, I don't know if it was a fake video, you never know, right? This was years ago when GTA 5, I think, got delayed, and this person was flipping out. And me and my friend would joke, like, how is this guy going to act with GTA 6? It's been 100 years. But it will come out, and everybody will freaking... It doesn't matter, because people are like, I'm not going to buy it. You're buying it when it comes out. It could be $200, and people are going to buy it. That's why these console, like, the Switch 2 pre-orders are through the roof. Now, I don't think the Switch console itself is that overpriced at $450. I think people wanted it at $400. $450 is not really that overpriced in reality. For what it's being upgraded enough to where you're like, alright. The game, sure. But people were pre-ordering the Switch 2 like crazy, so it doesn't fucking matter. Myself, personally, I don't give a shit. I'm kind of glad that they're bumping the price, because now I'll be like, I don't want to buy this. Great. Great. You're giving me a reason not to buy it. I don't like to buy $70 games. I did it with Indie. Like I said, Indie, Final Fantasy VII, Rebirth, and Silent Hill 2. That's it. 3 out of my 70 being the full price, 3 out of the 20, like 8 games I have there. Some were gifts, obviously, Christmas and stuff. And gifted from some of you guys. Those games wouldn't have been, the gifted ones from Amazon wishlist would not have been 70. I would never put a $70 game on there. But like I got a Alan Wake 2, what my fiance got me. That was $70, I would think. Actually, it was probably $80. because it's the deluxe edition. No, it was 70 because it's a deluxe edition. I think the regular edition they were charging 60. That's why I gotta take advantage of the holidays and birthdays. But for myself, 3 of those games I paid full price for. And that's probably too many. But there's no way. I couldn't resist Indie. Couldn't resist Final Fantasy. And I sure as shit couldn't resist the Silent Hill 2 remake. But Xbox, I had saw... all their consoles are going up in price too, which is nuts. They're already shit in the bed. I understand tariffs and inflation, blah, blah, blah. It's got to go up too. This isn't like Nintendo just pumping out new stuff and saying this is the price. You guys are now bumping the prices up of existing systems that have been out for 5 years, right? The Xbox and the PS5, the Series XS, and PS5 came out in 2020. So you're saying, I don't know when this is going to take place, but I know they said their game's going to be $80 by the end of the year. Now, you can get away with that on brand new games coming out because they've not come out yet. But your consoles have already been out. They've probably hit price drops at points, and now all of a sudden they're more money. I mean, Xbox is already fucked to begin with. I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't make a new console and they just go handheld. And then third party all their stuff like they're doing now. It's going to be the next Sega. And that's because they botched it. They botched it when, during the Xbox One stuff with the, you're not going to be able to share your games. And then they went back on that because then everybody was like, what are you doing? And their price was higher than PS4. Which is crazy because they were coming off the original Xbox that did well for a brand new console from a company that was only PC. Now they're in the console scene. And then the 360 did, I mean, they had the problem with the Red Ring of Death, but the 360 did extremely well. Extremely well. And then, and I have an Xbox One. I like it. I still use it. But, and then the Series XS, you know, I mean, the COVID crap and the chip shortages were screwing people, and scalpers were buying up these systems. And PS5, scalpers, I guess, were going for the PS5 more so than the Xboxes. But all of a sudden, it's like the Xbox Series S, which is 300, is going up like $80. Like, what? That thing should not go up. Because a lot of people are like, this thing is good if you just want to get a system and play some games. But it doesn't even have the power of the other systems. So what are you doing there? It's nuts. Because like I said, the games you can get away with if they're not out. Now, if all of a sudden $70 games all of a sudden become 80 that are already out, I don't think they can do that anyway. Because at that point they sold, unless they're selling new stock to the stores themselves would have to do that. But whatever I don't even know what the exclusives are for Xbox, but a new Gears of War comes out at the end of this year and you're like, it's $80. Well, it's new. So you can charge whatever the fuck you want for it. You're not bumping up an existing price. It's not like, well, you know, Indie, it was 70, but now it's 80. No, but their systems have been out for years, and now all of a sudden they're $180 to like $130 more. That's nuts. I mean, I assume they're not expecting a spike in sales from that. Maybe deep down they're like, screw it. We just want to be done with consoles. I know there's rumors that they're making a handheld. Get in the handheld game. Keep doing your third-party stuff. Make your money that way. Or they're going to definitely go digital. There's no way they're not going digital. Their next console generation. Because Game Pass when it comes to Game Pass, Microsoft did it A+ on Game Pass. Game Pass is great. Like, Game Pass is incredible. It really is. Like, if you just like games, I love having physical copy, but if you don't care about the physical copy, you're gonna, like, you get game, I don't know how much Game Pass is a month. Is it $20 a month for the Ultimate, where you also get, like, Ubisoft's thing and EA access on top of Game Pass? So say you just, is it 3 tiers? I don't know. Say you just got Game Pass even for a year. I don't know what it is. Let's look it up. I want to see what it is for a full year for Game Pass. Game Pass Ultimate is what it's called, that, right? Let's see what it's like. Oh my god, where are you? Alright, Game Pass Ultimate's $20 a month. Where is the yearly price, though? Because they probably give you a little bit of a deal. Let me look up a yearly price. Oh, really? A yearly subscription isn't explicitly offered through Micro? Really? Oh, that's weird. Alright, whatever. You do it for $20 a month. That's $240 for a year. And you're getting, like I said, I'm pretty sure you definitely get EA, right? And I think you get the Ubisoft. Is it them that has one? I don't know. If you get all of that for $240 a year, and Microsoft's pumping out their new stuff right to Game Pass as it comes out, that's an incredible fucking deal. In fact, if you're trying to save money, you're saving a ton of money, because if you buy games as they come out, say you got Indie, 2 other games that came out at $70, you're already over $200 on 3 games. $240 for a year. Obviously plus tax. Actually, I don't know if they charge tax. So it'll be less than $240. Ooh, yeah. It's a great deal. Game Pass is excellent. Like, you cannot knock it. Like, Microsoft hit it out of the park with Game Pass. They did Game Pass 100% right. You just get, and they're probably smart. They're like, why just go digital? They're going to do it next console. There's no way they don't. But Game Pass is great. Because if you got a series, if you just play games, you're not like, oh, the graphics got to be the best ever. And you play games a good amount, but not insanely, right? You're not playing 100 games a year, or whatever, 50 games a year, I don't know. You get a Series X, a Series S, which was 300, even if you got it at 380, plus another 240 for a year, if you just like, screw it, okay, for a year. So you don't say it for 6 months. You're getting your money's worth, because if you play just 2 full games a month, it depends on the game, right? Game's 10 hours, more likely to beat it in a month. If a game's 100 hours, it might take you a while. It's just so worth it. Anytime I've had it, it's worth it. I've only had it for, actually I think I had it for 2 months straight. I usually would get it for $1. But it's totally worth it. It's a great service, and they have so many games, man. Because the times I've had it, I played like Devil May Cry 5 on there. I played this game called Lake. I think there was one called Tell Me Why. I think that's what it was called. That was an exclusive. I think it was called that. It was a pretty good game. It was one of those Life is Strange type games. And that kind of episodic, and somebody has some kind of power. What else have I played on there? I played Gears 5 originally on there when it came out. And then I bought a copy of it for $5, and I haven't opened it from Best Buy. I played a ton of stuff on there. I played some smaller stuff, some older stuff too. I'm trying to think of some of the bigger titles I played on there. I know Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, I remember playing. Like I said, that Tell Me Why I played on there. But I played a ton of other stuff too, but I cannot remember what it was. What it is, because I have not had Game Pass in a while. I periodically look on there, and so... Oh, I played Like a Dragon. Yakuza Like a Dragon I played on Game Pass. So, every time I get it, you play one game, you play one game a month, realistically, you get your money's worth. Even at $20 a month. And that's not counting EA and the Ubisoft thing. So you have access to a shit ton of games. And if you really love playing games, you're set. You set it up for a year and you're good. Even if they don't give you a discount, you're just like, I want a year's worth, and you pay them a year's worth, and you're good on games for a year. And that's not talking about any new releases coming right to it as well. I know EA, I don't think necessarily does that. Day one. I don't know if Ubisoft does either. But it's a great service. I did play some horror game on there now that I think about it. Oh, I played Blair Witch originally on there. And it was gifted to me through the wishlist. Thank you who got me that. But I do want to play that again at some point. That's a good game. Blair Witch is an underrated horror game. The one that came out, I don't even know now. It's probably been 5 years. Actually, it's probably been like 6, 7. It was made by Bloober Team, I believe, who did Silent Hill 2 remake. And like Medium and is it Layers of Fear? Or maybe it wasn't that one they did. Maybe it was something else. But I'll probably get this to about a half an hour, I guess. Because I got done rambling about the price increase or the delay and stuff. You know, $80 game is rough. I mean, obviously. I mean, games were, like I said, I mean, if you were live back then or old enough to be playing games back in the NES, Super NES, even Nintendo 64 era, Genesis, some games would be $80, $90. And that was when people were making a lot less. Now, of course, things go up and sometimes people's salaries don't go up as everything else goes up. But I hate when people say, well, a game in the 80s would cost this now. Well, you know what? Those games don't come out now. They came out when they fucking came out. You know? You could say, oh, the Super Mario World would have been $110 now. Okay. And we'll say the same thing now. Mario Kart is $80. Good deal. It's going to be $150 now, you know? But yes, games were that expensive back then when people weren't making as much. So you'd have to get, like, some games for $70, $80 back in 91. Yes, that game now would be $120. You know, if you're saying that. In my opinion, 80 was too much back then. That's why people didn't get as many games unless your family had a shit ton of money or you had a shit ton of money. You didn't get a ton of games then. Of course, a lot of games go on sale now anyway. Of course, now $80 the sale, all of a sudden $60 instead of $50 or $40. Here's the thing. You don't want it, don't buy it. That's what I say. And I'm, right now, unless it's Elder Scrolls, I'll pay $100 for it. I'll do it. That's like my one exception to the rule. Like, even Silent Hill 2, if they were like Silent Hill 2 is $100, I would be like, no, I'll wait. I can argue that 70 was too much for Silent Hill 2, but I got my money's worth, but you can argue it. Of course, it all depends on the hours. Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is worth it. GTA 5 is worth $100. If you even take out of any kind of online experience, you're going to get 100 hours of gameplay at least out of GTA 6. Sorry, 6. I said 5, 6. So $100 in reality is worth it. Now, if you paid $100 for... I'm trying to look at the games I have. Alone in the Dark. Say that came out at $100. That ain't worth it in my opinion. Now, games like Deathmark and stuff do not come out at $60 anyway. That's the thing. You're still going to have games that come out cheaper. This is a great opportunity for companies that make the B-level games, the AA budget games, single A budget games that are still good. They just don't look as incredible, or they're not as huge in scope. These games could make a killing. Because all of a sudden, for me personally, I'll be like, and I already look at these games, but I'll be like, Deathmark 2, White Day 2, it's $40 compared to $80. I'll get 2 of those games for the price of the one, you know. Like I said, people complain about the price, and then people are wrapped around the doors of GameStop trying to get a pre-order for a Switch 2. It's like, now how many of those people are complaining about the price? I don't know. But there's plenty of people that will be like, I can't believe Mario Kart's going to be $80, and they will buy it. They'll probably buy 2 copies of it. That's why I was laughing. But anyway, this is just a ramble about video games and kind of just talking about the GTA delay and the price increase with Microsoft systems and games. But yeah, let me know what you think about price increases, if you care or you don't care. That's the thing with me, right? Doesn't it? I could be like, I think that's too much, but I'm just not going to buy it. I'm not going to go on a crusade against it. I'm gonna be like, okay, I won't purchase it. If nobody buys, people are gonna buy Mario Kart. The console's a different story, especially because Switch isn't out. Now Microsoft bumping their price up by a shit ton when the console's been out for 5 years. Think about that. This console's been out for 5 years. Hey, it used to be 500, 400, or 400. Now it's gonna be 500. Now it's gonna be 600. Isn't that awesome, guys? You want to pay more money for this console that's been out longer? In fact, it makes, if Nintendo in their minds probably like, dude, Sony, bump your price up too, because now our 450 looks even better. But anyway, thanks for checking us out, and have a good day.